Some more of the same, CharLee. Well,
Ready? Hit it.
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ouch, Charlie!
CharLee Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Hello, my friend. I am CharLee Simons, your host here on Do Not Talk. Talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: religion and politics. What I'm about to do right now, I haven't done before. It's literally just a round table. As people come on and join the broadcast, I will bring them in. There's something going on with the California Republican Party. Their big convention, spring convention in Sacramento, is happening a week and a half from now. And I've been a delegate now for a couple of years, which means I vote on Sundays. That's the big day. The whole convention is about, here's what we want to do with the party. Here's the direction we want to head. Here's the future we see as a path to actually win in the state of California, which has everything dead set against us. Here's what we can do to turn that around or change that. What I've been seeing since I've become a delegate, you talk about sausage. You never want to see how the sausage is made because you'll never want to eat sausage again, or hot dog. True. Very true. And it's not that the way the hot dog is made or the sausage is irrelevant in this case. It's just, it is what it is. That's the charter of the Republican Party in the state of California. These are the rules and regs. This is how we operate. If you want to change it, we're going to have to all vote on it, and it's got to be a certain majority. Otherwise, we play within the parameters of what we have decided in the past. It's kind of like the United States of America. We have a Constitution, we have a Bill of Rights, we have a Declaration of Independence, and those are our founding documents. Well, same with state Republican or Democrat parties or the independents or the whomever it is. They all have their charter, and this is what we follow. I bring that all up to say that what I'm seeing in the state of California has been pathetic. If you don't know what a rhino is, it's an acronym, RINO, Republican in name only. So when you hear somebody talk about a rhino, that's what they mean, a Republican in name only, which means they say they are, but they're not. Everything they do, words are easy, see. Action's a different story. And what I've been seeing with the executive committee members who are in place right now is horrible, especially the chair herself. She's the worst. She's terming out. And we've got a, as a matter of fact, I got somebody calling right now who I would love to see be a part of this mix as well. Let me contact, or to answer this call. Hello, Mike. I'm on the air live right now with some folks from the California GOP Central Committees who have been removed by the state party. So if you got something to add to that, can I put you on? Otherwise, let me call you back.
Well, it was about this, but it's not something I want to put on the air, okay?
Do you want to put it on the air right now? I'm literally live right now. I answered
No.
Okay, all right.
I want to talk off the record line.
Okay, brother. Talk to you soon. There you go. I do have somebody who's been on the show before, and I like him. I respect him. I admire him. And he and I are right in line with what we need to do to win in the state of California and the super majority of Democrats that they have so successfully dug in like ticks. And how do we fight against that? I think we fight against that by being true to who we are. But Peter Hernandez, we're seeing stuff going on in the California Republican Party that they have absolutely not only tried to end what we've always been, but are actually trying to change the rules and take things out of the charter, like being pro-life, pro-gun, pro-2A, pro-traditional marriage. They've been trying to take all that stuff out. The committee members, we got a chair race happening at the convention. I'm voting for Mike Morrell. I'm in Team Morrell. I don't want the vice chair who's running for chair. I think she would be even worse than the current chair we have. It's very loud where you are, but give me your thoughts. You're part of the Central Committee, which every county has a Central Committee of the party. And you were elected chair of that Central Committee in, is it Marin or Monterey?
San Benito County.
Oh, San Benito. I'm sorry, San
Yeah.
Benito. Okay. What's going on with you? What's happening with the party and the central committees?
Well, I think it gets back to what, when you first started the conversation about the rhino sentiment, right? That said, apart from people's frustration, right? Because I know that those that get called that get frustrated, and they get offended, right? But to me personally, you shouldn't be offended if it doesn't apply to you. But my point in mentioning that is, uh, the reality is that sentiment rose up from a frustration because we don't know what it means to be a Republican anymore, right? And to a certain extent, the morphine of the California Republican Party over the last at least 20 years, maybe more, has been literally this, used to be this middle ground sentiment. Let's meet in the middle. Let's work across the aisle, right? But that's actually morphed now into liberalism, postmodernism, and really a watering down of values. Now we don't know what we stand on anymore. So technically speaking, it makes sense why you would change the rules midstream, right? If you're in the middle of a baseball game and someone changes the rule right in the middle of the game, well, guess what? You're set to lose. The rules are basically stacked against you. So what happened in San Benito County is ultimately I ran for Congress. That by default makes me an ex officio, which means I get appointed a certain amount of delegates based off of my voter turnout. So I received 5 delegates. But also, and it wasn't my even intention to run for county chair. But sure enough, the locals that obviously saw the energy behind me in supporting my campaign, they wanted something different. They wanted a little bit more of a nose to the grindstone, basically a hardworking guy that was going to change the dynamics and ultimately the sentiment and support, right? We really need a rebranding of the Republican Party. As you can tell, I'm a very proud Hispanic, Chicano, but very America first, pro-Trump, right? There's a reason why Donald Trump got elected, because people don't want middle ground politics. They want truth tellers, right? They want people that are actually going to get things done. And I would argue that's kind of been my sentiment. I mean, I served also a county supervisor, and I didn't mince words. I was obviously respectful and honest, but it didn't mean that I held back. And ultimately, I think that's the dominant force at the grassroots level. So sure enough, I ended up getting asked to run for Central Committee. I ended up getting elected to become the local Central Committee chair. And historically speaking, by default, that means you get delegates appointed to you now also for your chairmanship. Well, guess what? They changed the rules and said, oh, actually, Chairman Hernandez, you get 0 delegates for San Benito County. We're going to take those away from you, right? And I actually told this to Danielle Cullum, who's part of the membership, basically the leadership of that state party. And they're like, and I basically told her, I said, you guys are ultimately robbing San Benito County of representation. And they said, no, we're not. Look at the section code. But just, it's funny because serving as a county supervisor has taught me a lot. You know what it looks like for people to defer, to deflect, or to redefine the rules. And so I know what to look out for. Sure enough, she was trying to basically pigeonhole me into this conversation about the bonus delegates that someone gets when you had added elements to your Central Committee, whether it's you have an office for your Central Committee, whether it's you get a plurality of voters, basically a 25% increase, or I'm sorry, 2,500 voters basically increase in Republican registration. There's certain things that give you bonus delegates. Well, that's all she focused on. And I said, look, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the base delegates that every county normally gets in an election cycle post the organization meeting. And ultimately she deflected. And I was like, okay, it sounds like you're just basically, you're blind. You're gaslighting. You're changing the conversation. I said, the reality is I don't work under those woke rules. As far as I'm concerned, you're changing the rules and you're stealing my election. And she's like, Chairman, we're not stealing your election. I said, yeah, you are. I said, you don't like to hear those words, but that's basically what's happening. And that's fine. But sure enough, that's basically the reality is they don't want to win. Here's the reality. If they did, then we wouldn't be losing congressional races like we did in 24. While we had a Trump landslide where California got actually a plurality, 12% plus Hispanic male votes. Guys like me that are now, I've been in the party for a long time, but there's a lot that I'm bringing into the fold. I would argue we are basically the ones that the Hispanic community are looking for to be the truth tellers in the conversation. And that's why people are jumping on board. And so sure enough, we're moving the needle. They don't like that because what does that mean? The populist sentiment takes over the party. By default, we're actually moving the ball down the direction of a little bit more of a foundational respect for the constitutional reality of what we're supposed to live under. They don't want that anymore. They want this postmodern sentiment, right? They want something that's different, that's a little bit more top down. Technically speaking, it's a failed sentiment. I firmly believe the reason why
Shoot. We lost him right at the end. That's Peter Hernandez. Um, I remember last convention, it was the fall convention. I was there, and what they do on Sundays is everything works up to what we're all going to trying to convince us one way or the other. And everybody has their workshops and their meetings and their gatherings, and it's all hooray for our side. The convention or the committee chair, executive board, brought up that they wanted to decrease the amount of delegates that people like Peter and others were getting in their central committee, decrease the amount of delegates. And a bunch of us got up and said, that makes zero sense. We want to grow our party, not shrink it. Why would you want to decrease the amount of people who are going to have a say and maybe shape the future of our party in a different way, in a winning way, instead of conceding, instead of quitting, instead of complying and reaching across the aisle with the party that we're running against? That makes no sense. Why are we trying to adopt things that they believe and things that they stand for when we're completely dead set against it? Their argument is, well, we have to do that to be able to win elections. You have to become like a Democrat? That makes no sense. Why would anybody vote for us or a Republican candidate when it's basically just a Democrat light with an R after his name instead of a D? That makes no sense. No, don't do that. We want to grow our party, not shrink it. So they agreed to table that whole thing of taking delegates away until the next convention, when we could all talk it out and so on. Maybe we'll bring it up again. Yeah, this is too contentious. Okay, all right, we'll table it. But then they just did it. They just did it. And they've been doing it. To Central Committee members, chairs have been removed who were elected. Again, each county has a Central Committee of the Republican Party. They're the ones who vet local candidates, but they also have a great say in what's going on statewide, too. And it's people who have been vetted, people who have been proven. This is, yes, we're not rhinos. Things are going on. Nevada County is a good example, too. The chair there is just absolutely full on board rhino. And it's affecting our lives and our future in dramatic and horrible ways, because the last thing I want to do is go the way of a Democrat. Why would I want to do that? So I've invited several people to jump on and join me. That was Mike Netter, who was on the phone. I was hoping to be able to get his take on all of this. He's got something else he's working on right now, though, and plus he's on the radio at KABC in Los Angeles. But John Turnicliffe is another one. I think, if I remember right, he's Marin County. He was one of the chairs that was removed. Dalila Epperson. That's down in, I think it's Paso Robles, or maybe it's Monterey. Sorry, Monterey County. All these people are being removed. And like what happened with Peter there, taking away the delegates, which is part of the rules of the California Republican Party. That when I'm a candidate's delegate. That's why I'm a delegate with the state, with Rudy Rosselli, who is the man who ran in Northern California Bay Area against John Garamendi. Now, he has delegates that were assigned to him, and he chose me to represent him if he can't make it to a convention, or to join him at conventions and to actually be a voice in the future of the state. The last two conventions I went to, I got to tell you, it was so frustrating, because everything I thought, well, these are Republican values and this is absolutely what we should be doing or how we should be voting, didn't win. And they're doing electronic voting. Yes. With little, they look like little TV remotes. That's how we're voting. not a paper count, not a stand up and let your count be voted by. You actually, it's a standing vote. Easy and no cheating. They're allowing proxies, and they say it's under the guise of, well, those who are like work in emergency services, first responders, and so on, who can't actually be there or have to leave and can't vote. You can give your vote, your little remote, to somebody else to vote for you. There's associate delegates. I'm part of that group with the increasing and encouraging delegates to have associates under them, because we're building a bench. We're building a lineup. People who can step up and become delegates and actually shape the future of the Republican Party in California. But we have an executive committee, executive board members who, as you just heard from Peter there, seem dead set against it. Why? Is there any money being exchanged? What's going on? I have no problems naming names. I have no problems calling these people out. Not at all. Because the future of my state is far too important to me than having friends in the Republican Party. I will stay a Republican. I've been one from the very first president I was ever able to vote for was Ronald Reagan. I'm that old. And that hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, if anything, it's gotten stronger. And yes, I believe this is the way that is right. And nationally, we just saw tremendous inroads with a tremendous amount of my fellow citizens in the United States of America saying, yeah, I think CharLee might be onto something. Sure wasn't my influence, but you know what I'm saying? They agree with me. Look at the overwhelming majority of people. And I do believe that the polls lied to us. I do believe that the results of the voting is dishonest. I think that I've heard some numbers as high as over 90 million voting. Popular vote, not just electoral college. They couldn't deny it. It truly was too big to rig. Why would we, as a state of California, decide, the only way we can win is by being more like the Democrats? That doesn't make a bit of sense, does it? But yet that's what they're doing. That's what's been going on. So I've been trying to help get the word out as much as possible what's going on with the California Republican Party pulling candidates, delegates like that, and telling the county central committees, you literally, all of you elected this person to be your chair and to run the show. And yeah, we don't want them in there. Yeah, we're not recognizing them. This is your chair here. We just put them in. That's not the state's party place. That's not for them to decide, for them to just do, but yet that is what they are doing. It's weird. Corinne Rankin is the vice chair under Jessica Patterson. Again, Jessica Patterson, my opinion, dismal failure. I was there when she got reelected, when people were standing up trying to say, no, we don't want this. Why are you even running again? No, and trying to make their case about this is not the person we want running the party. She's gaveling them out. She's having their microphones turned off. I was there. That was my very first convention. I was stunned. I went, I feel like I'm at a Democrat convention right now. This is crazy. But that's what happened. By the way, that was a non-paid to be chair of the state party. Non-paid, volunteer. I don't know how she did it, but she's getting a salary of over $250,000, which includes her little expenses and all this stuff. Close to $250,000 is what she is making, and she is dismantling and destroying my party in the state of California. What's going to come of it? I don't know. You got any thoughts? I'd love to hear from you. Let me open the chat room right now. You got any questions? Go ahead and ask them. Amber. Hello, Amber. Thank you for checking in, Amber Arias. Thank you very much for checking in. Yes, that is exactly what's going on. There's a concerted effort to neutralize the state party by the state party. It seems that blatant to me. Why? What's going on? What are they getting out of it? So Mike Morrell is my guy. He's running for chair of the California GOP. I pray that he wins, because if Corinne Rankin actually wins from vice chair to chair, it's going to be worse for our party than it was even under Jessica Patterson. So if you're a delegate or you know a delegate, please at least throw that name out there. Mike Morrell, former California state senator and stalwart gentleman, brilliant author, successful businessman, and driven to do what's right. A hardcore Christ Jesus following Christian, which I think is exactly what our party needs. Mike Morrell, thank you very much for running. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for throwing your hat in the ring. You got a lot of things going on, and you probably didn't need this, but you want it. And that means everything to me. I think that's very important. As a matter of fact, just dawned on me, I should have actually invited Mike Morrell to join us. Why didn't I think of that sooner? That would have been smart, huh? Let me see if I can get him on the phone at least. Here we go. He had no idea that I was going to call. He doesn't know I'm on the air. He didn't know I'm talking about him, but he's about to find out. Sounds like it's going to voicemail. Yeah, I think it's going to go to voicemail.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Mike, hello. CharLee Simons, the show Do Not Talk, and talking about what's going on with the California GOP and taking away committee chair, central committee chairs, positions, and also taking away their delegates and so on. So I was hoping to be able to get a thought from you. Very last minute. I just thought I'd give it a shot, see if I could get you on at least over the phone. So sorry I missed you. Talk to you later. There you go. That's what's going on. It's happening in a week and a half. And the Spring Convention 2025 happening in Sacramento at the Hyatt Regency. And I'll be there. I'm going to be broadcasting live all day Saturday, starting in the morning until 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'll just be putting people on and spending the whole day broadcasting live from there. So if you can join me, that'd be awesome. On my Facebook page, and also on which is CharLee Simons on YouTube at CharLee Simons, CharLeeSimons, and of course rumble.com/DoNotTalk. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. Most importantly, America bless God.